You know what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this?
Come on, then. I'll bite your legs off!
I can take it.
Great power comes great responsibility. We have a fault. Get to the chopper! Hanley! It's a flesh wound. I am the father.
And welcome back to the 24th episode of the main show on SludgeCast. This is Sludge here, and of course I am joined with my co-host,
Micah. How's it going?
and we have a very, 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 very special guest today. Back with us, finally, after much demand, we have got Walter.
What's up, guys?
Oh, man. So I'm so glad you're back, Walter.
Me too, man.
We got a lot to talk about in this episode. A lot of really cool stuff. But first and foremost, I want to talk about Walter, because since you all have last heard from Walter, she has traveled to other countries and she's fought a horse. It's been an epic year for you.
Yeah.
Let's start with the horse fight. That's a pretty epic story, and I would like to hear that real quick, or tell the listeners about it.
All right, so I would love to say that I won the fight. And I mean, I'm alive, so that would count as a win. The horse is too, though, so rematch. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So basically, I went horseback riding. It was one of the first times on a horse ever for me. And I was just going with a friend, and it was actually it was on her horse and stuff, and she was just leading it along, showing me mainly some of the scenery and stuff. And we were kind of on not a cliff, that sounds a bit too much, but it was a higher area where it kind of sloped down real quick. And so the horse kind of stepped off of that area, started kind of falling down. And I was unconscious and really don't remember a lot of what happened at all because I was unconscious. And
She
so
was out of it.
yeah. So basically I fell off the horse. And there's a lot of speculation about what happened. A lot of people are just like, oh, you fell off the horse. But falling off of a horse and even landing face down wouldn't result in a broken jaw, broken nose, broken eyebrow, broken cheek, and a crack in the back of the skull.
There was 6 total breaks or 7?
Probably more than that, but just kind of
As far as major
simplified,
areas.
yeah, simplified major areas. That's what happened. So several of the doctors, because it was mainly on the right side of my face and branched out in certain areas to the left side, they were wondering if when I fell, the horse then stepped on my face at some point, because me just falling off and hitting the ground.
Wouldn't have done that.
Possibly a broken nose, maybe being unconscious, but nothing too big, especially the crack in the back of my skull. So there's a lot of speculation about that's what happened. I was med flighted from there. If you asked me, I was actually there to get my wisdom teeth taken out. I was in the hospital for that.
She was so aware of what was going on.
I don't have my wisdom teeth in yet, so that's not why I was there at all. But, I had no idea. I still hardly believe that I was airlifted because I don't remember there being a helicopter present, anything like that. I was in the hospital for a week, and feels like a couple of days because I was either unconscious and a surgery or something was going on, or I was just asleep. And I had reconstructive surgery in the areas on my face. They put metal in on the right side of my face where basically my cheekbone was broken. And they said that if my skin wasn't there, they could just literally lift the bones off my face and pull them off.
Wow.
Because there was nothing holding them there. So during the surgery, they kind of wired my mouth shut to fix everything in the jaw. There's several metal platelet type things in my face. Coworkers now either call me Iron Man, or they
Yes,
also.
I would take that all day long.
I know. They also say it's vibranium. So a lot of people will say, don't punch her in the face or her face will punch you back. So
that's a very true statement.
Yeah. So it was supposed to be a 4-hour surgery, ended up going to 7 hours. But by the time, I was out, I was able to go home a couple of days after that. And it was a lot of time of recovery. I was out of work for a month to the day, a month, and just spent kind of a lot of time looking at life and really thinking oh my gosh, how blessed am I, the fact that I'm even still here.
Oh yeah.
All this happening. The doctors kept saying over and over again, we hope you realize that if you didn't have on a helmet, you'd be dead. Like there's no question about it. So like the fact that I get to be on this show, the fact that I have Christmas with my family, like all of that is so much more of a blessing than I could ever imagine. And recovery's been going great. We actually just went back to the surgeon this past week. And he said that everything's looking fine. And the only thing that he would say is if I wanted to do surgery kind of on the other side of my face to make it to where both sides are a bit more equal. And he said fullness, I say chubbiness from adding the platelet on the right side. But there's no major concerns or anything. I haven't had any trouble. I've been able to go back to full time, and it's been awesome. So.
Yeah, I remember when it happened. I mean, I remember getting the text. A lot of us did when it happened, and the first text I got was actually that you were being med flighted. So yes, that definitely did happen because somebody told me. I think it was. I don't remember who would text me about it, but if it was, I don't think it was Mike, your brother, but it was somebody had texted me about it. And
it was me, you turd.
Was you the first one? I know you text me, but I was thinking maybe it was you.
I was gonna say Scanner Food, that thing on Facebook that posts about like accidents or things like that in the area. They posted a picture of the helicopter in the air and was like, there was a farming accident. And I was like, they got it wrong again. I was in the helicopter and I know exactly what happened. Yeah. Not exactly, but I know.
I fought a horse.
It wasn't
I fought a horse.
That's what I tell everybody. I fought a horse.
I fought a horse.
That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's amazing. And you know what? One of the amazing things for me from all that, honestly, what touched me the most, of course, we were all super insanely worried and believing God was going to pull you through it, was it the week after you got out of the hospital? I mean, you were at church that Wednesday night.
Yeah, I can't. So I got out of the hospital on a Sunday morning. Sunday around 3:00, and some of the swelling started going down a couple of days after that and stuff. And that Wednesday, I was able to come back to church, and it was so great. I got the nicest escort. I was in a wheelchair, and they wheeled me in. I wasn't even required to be in a wheelchair. They just pushed me in and let me hang out. I mean, it was.
Sarah was even she's got me in a wheelchair. I'm like, no, she's just milking this is what she's doing. No, that was such an amazing testimony. I know we are all crying when we saw you. At least, I did. And I was like, man, that's just awesome that you were here. And it's just amazing to show. I mean, that was such a fast recovery watching you go through that. And even now, you were, you're as beautiful now as you were before the accident. So there was no, with the surgeries, nothing. Forget the doctors. You don't need any extra surgeries. You're good to go.
Dude, thanks.
That's a huge testimony to have.
Yeah.
I think it's really
There's
cool.
been so many people that I've either met after everything happened or who haven't seen me in a long time. And when I tell them about what happened or they see pictures, they'll look at me and say, I never would have looked at you and guessed that happened. There's a couple of scars, one over above my eyebrow there. And then one on the inside of my right eye, and then one right on the outside of my right eye. And that's just about it for the scarring. I can feel a scar kind of up around my gums,
under your
I guess.
lip. Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt. I can just feel it's there. I just know it's there. But yeah, there's been so many people just saying I never would have thought that.
Yeah, especially if you see the before. But
yeah.
before the surgery and after, it's crazy. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, definitely God kept you alive on that one.
Absolutely. So. There's I can't. If you took God out of the picture, I don't know where I'd be. I'd probably still be in recovery, or I wouldn't be here at all, or just so much stuff to it. But I'm so grateful.
Oh, us too. And we're glad you're here. So
I'm so happy to be back. I've missed this so much.
And then real quick, definitely want to hear you just got back from Honduras.
I did.
Missions trip out there. How did that go?
It was amazing. We got to go to an orphanage out there, serving orphans worldwide, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of their orphanages. The church does a lot to sponsor it and stuff. And we got to go down and just spend some time with the kids. I got to teach at a vacation Bible school while we were there.
That's cool.
4 kids on the first night raised their hand to get saved that night. It was just it was so awesome to be able to be there and be a part of. I had never spoken with a translator before, so that was pretty interesting because I had no idea what I would be saying otherwise.
I couldn't
tried
do
to speak in Spanish.
I talk so fast already. I'm gonna forget they're there. They're gonna be like, sir,
wait, stop, wait. Okay. We're 3 paragraphs behind you. Please wait.
But yeah, it was so great. I wanted to bring all the kids home with me. I just loved all of them. There was Micah. You might get jealous. I don't know. There was a little 11-year-old boy. His name was Manuel.
Good old Manuel. Good old Manuel.
Manuel's going to cause some competition for Micah.
Heard that.
He definitely flirted with me the whole time we were there. But he was so sweet, and he was saying this totally lifted my spirits completely. Like, not that they were already lifted when I was there, but like it just brought such joy. He was asking me about my favorite music, and I was like, oh gosh, Christian music. Like, I don't know. There's so much music I listen to, and he was like, oh, okay. And he runs away, and then he comes back and he goes, my favorite music is The Greatest Showman. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, maybe you knew what my favorite music was, and I didn't. And I was like, maybe that's what actually happened. But it was so much fun. We had a massive water war, and I mean, it was the best time. I would so want to go back.
Awesome.
I so want to go
I'm
back.
glad it was good. So I got to see just a couple pictures on Facebook. I think that Lydia had posted. And I was like, I got to make sure and ask her about that because I want to hear how it went.
Yeah, I haven't been able to post anything just yet. I mean, I could have. I just haven't yet, I guess. But I definitely have some pictures, videos, and tons of stuff like that I'm going to have to put out there soon. It was just, gosh, it was so great.
Definitely cool.
So
Well, I'm glad you're here with this episode because, like I said, we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to do a couple news things I want to go through. We're going to discuss which Micah's behind on.
Micah is very behind on.
The Crisis on Infinite Earths that's happening in the big crossover this year with the DC shows. Of course, we got a song in store for you guys, and it's Christmas time, so yes, it's going to be a Christmas song.
Yes, sir.
And then we're going to end the night off with some Disney. We've got a lot of big Disney this year.
I'm sure the people were trying to figure out why I was here. And then
Of
you
course.
mentioned Disney. They're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's why.
We got to bring the Disney expert in for this one. So, so it's going to be a good, really, really good show. Real quick, news-wise, I want to jump
As
through.
an end to the welcome back Walter
that's right.
section, my girlfriend's a cyborg, yours isn't, so
Oh,
just
so
leave
much
it at that.
cooler. Inner Skynet, Terminator
Hey,
Time.
there we go.
I just watched the new one again, so
Why would you do that?
that's so good. I'm sorry.
Some girls might be offended by that. That was a very romantic statement. Thank you.
I mean,
Hey.
scares me, but I've seen too many Terminator films. No, yes, that was very, very cool, romantic. Thanks, Micah.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Chase is gagging.
All right, so going to the news now. We've got the first thing I want to pop up is, of course, we got all these Disney Plus shows coming up that we're all excited about. Of course, the best is The Mandalorian.
Absolutely.
Which we know. I mean, it's going to always be the best.
I cried last episode, but it's fine.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I was telling my wife. I walked around the house for like 10 minutes. She's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "You wouldn't know. You don't watch this with me.
You can't understand the gravity of the situation."
Like me and Jada watched it, and because I got Jada for Christmas break. And she's like, Dad, I'm so behind because she doesn't have it. She has no way to watch it at her house. And so she came back and binge watched all 6 episodes back to back before we watched episode 7, like in a day.
There you go.
And she was all in. And man, when that ending happened, oh dude, yeah, we both came out of the chair. It was just so. I mean, I can't wait for what Marvel's going to do show wise, but Mandalorian's going to be the top.
I don't care
period.
about Marvel at this
I
point.
am,
It's so
I am
good.
just so happy about Disney Plus in general. Like, I mean, I don't think I have ever seen a program like that bring me so much joy.
That's
Like,
Sarah.
it's
That's my
just-
wife.
It is
Dude, she
so
loves it.
great. Like all the old shows and things. There's shows on there that I probably haven't seen since I was like 4 and didn't even remember that they existed.
Mhm.
And then I see them on there and I'm like, oh my gosh, my whole childhood
childhood.
was just
It's
thrown
right here.
right in front of me. And it's great.
Oh man,
That's
Sarah and the
great.
kids, they wear it out constantly. Disney Plus. I turn it on when The Mandalorian comes on, so that's permission to tell them that I really use it. It is an amazing program. I'm pretty stoked that they did that, and can't wait to see what else they bring. Especially being the new Marvel shows when they finally get around. One of those is an animated series called What If.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So stoked. So Walter, in case you don't know what If is. It
No
was
idea.
a series of comics that Marvel did. Each one was it was a solo book, each issue, and it was kind of an alternate to what really happened in the comics. So, like for example, Elektra gets killed in a Daredevil comic book, and they did a what if Elektra didn't get killed. They get a what if Hulk killed Wolverine. There's all these what if stories. What if Jane Foster got the hammer and became Thor, which is we're going to see on film here in a couple
I'm
years.
excited about that.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't Natalie Portman, I'd be excited.
Exactly.
yeah.
I'm not going to get into Natalie Portman.
So next year we're getting the What If show, and so they're going to be the animated stories to the books, and so excited to see this stuff happen. I mean, and one of them, and I really hope they do it, is Peggy Carter gets the super soldier serum instead of Cap. Yeah, it's awesome.
Peggy.
It's so cool. But news just broke today that Kevin Feige, had finally seen the 10 episodes and loved it, but then stated we're already working on the next 10 for season 2. So I thought that's awesome. Before it even hits, we're already getting 2 seasons of What If.
That's
That'd
great.
be great.
Ah, man, I cannot wait for that. So just a quick little Marvel tidbit. Another TV show tidbit, because The Mandalorian's doing obviously better than any show out right now, is Disney has finally put in full consideration of doing a Darth Vader TV series.
Oh.
Because we've got Obi-Wan coming. That's great news. We got Vader coming. 'Cause,
Yes.
I mean, like, some fans are like, but his story's already been told.
Shut
Movies.
up.
Yeah,
No.
just don't say a word, man. You can't get enough
I need
Vader.
more.
Except one problem. They're talking to Christian Hayden.
No, they're not.
Yeah, so that's my only beef with it. Now, they're talking to James Earl Jones about coming back and voicing Vader, which is going to be absolutely great. But yeah, apparently they're trying to get Christian Haydenson back, and I think that's the dumbest thing ever. Let's just give us Vader.
Just look over the stupidity of this question. Is that the guy who played Anakin, like in the original movie? Is that
No, well, in the first, or not the first trilogy, because the first trilogy was actually episodes.
The prequels.
Was episode 4, 5, and 6. The second trilogy was episodes 1, 2, and 3. He's the guy that played Anakin in 2 and 3 and ruined Darth Vader in 15 seconds. with the
gotcha?
epic-
Okay.
No, can't stand this guy. Can't stand him. I loved him in like Jumper with Samuel L. Jackson. That was a great movie. You know, he was good in that, but that's about it. Yeah, so I'm super excited though. So we are getting Darth Vader. Hopefully we won't get Christian along with it. Fingers crossed, but any Vader is good.
Hey,
Vader,
I got my
you know?
Ewan McGregor. I'm fine.
Oh, yes, man. Cannot wait for Obi-Wan. Cannot wait for it. So, another thing, comic book, TV, movie related. Warner Brothers has apparently listened to the backlash they've received for Swamp Thing, because Swamp Thing is arguably the best TV series that DC has done for the DC Universe Online.
Okay.
It was absolutely epic. They're working on a movie.
Hey, there
So
you go.
it won't apparently be tied in with as far as what the sources are saying is it's not going to be tied into the show.
Right.
So all new cast, whatever, but still Swamp Thing movie will be a horror film. Cannot wait. And apparently they're also doing a new Constantine film.
Ooh.
Now this is where what gets interesting with this is they're wanting Colin Farrell
Hey now.
to play
Hey
John
now.
Constantine. Like,
Hey now.
yes, that would be good. Which I know he's already kind of tying in with a new Batman film,
He's
but
fine.
it's okay. It's fine. He can play the Hellblazer. I'm totally cool with that. So, and that was great news, because if they're doing Swamp Thing and they're doing Constantine, that means Justice League Dark is
Yes.
on the way. We will see it.
So, are we to be expecting James Wan to be directing this, or
I would hope so. Like,
I feel like he has to?
yeah. So I mean, the source that's released this information is the same source that told us Pattinson is the
Right.
Batman. So, I mean, he's the inside.
I'm getting
guy.
more excited about that by the minute.
I am too. I just today got my copy of The Lighthouse with Pattinson and William Dafoe, which I'm not a fan. I didn't watch the movie because of the content, but
Right.
The Witch that came out a few years ago, same director. I mean, he took all kinds of awards, and that did look like a crazy movie. And The Lighthouse looks unbelievable. It's pretty much about two guys, William Dafoe and Robin Pattinson, who are on an island with a lighthouse, and they're slow descent into madness, and it looks so good. So I'm really excited about seeing that, and I'm getting more and more pumped about Pattinson playing Batman.
Yeah.
I do hear that he has one little hang up he's had. He's kind of struggling putting on the size he wants for the role.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see.
CGI.
Yeah, just add it in. Thicken the suit up a little bit. It'll be okay. Last bit of movie news, though, I want to get through real quick. Of course, being a horror movie fan that I am, I love the old classic zombie films, Night of the Living Dead. Didn't care about a lot of the newer remakes and new zombie fad that's come out with Walking Dead, but one that came out a few years back that I was a huge fan of because it really kind of reinvented the zombie genre, in my opinion, was a movie called 28 Days Later by Danny Boyle. Great freaking movie. Like, you see all the zombie movies prior to it, and like the zombies walked, and like somehow always caught up to people, but they were always walking in slow-moving creatures. In Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later, nope, not whatsoever. These things ran like Olympic runners. Like, they came after you. Because there's a whole new aspect of, instead of it's just the dead come back to life, it was actually a virus that dealt with the human rage. It's not part of your brain. And when the bodies died, they became back as zombies and were just these rage-type monsters. But he put really cool social aspects to his films in 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. Finally, we've been waiting for at least the fans of the series for quite a while. Just got word that 28 Months Later is finally in development. So I'm pretty excited because I know everyone's been on this big Walking Dead thing because it's huge, and I just don't care. You know what I mean? I have no excitement.
I got off of that at, I think season 5 was when
I've not even seen the first episode of Walking Dead.
First episode is really good.
Like, when you got George Romero's original zombie films and everyone just tries to do the same thing, I got tired of it. And Walking Dead seems like the same thing.
Once they got clearance to drop the F-bomb, I kind of...
it's like, on AMC?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't watch basic cable enough. So that surprises me.
Yeah.
But now Danny Boyle's stuff, I mean, it really, one of my favorite things about the first one, 28 Days Later, which I know you may probably never watch, is it really deals with, because you got these zombies that are these rage creatures pretty much, but really what makes them different from us type deal.
Right.
And at the very end, the main character, to protect the people he's, kind of fallen in love with, the other characters, to save them, he really kind of crosses that line. And there's a scene where he's attacking the main bad guy in the film, and it's such an intense scene that the girl he's trying to save looks at him and points a gun to him because she doesn't even know if he's actually one of the zombies or not. And that's really kind of the line is how far have we come to as a society to where hate and rage has become this thing that we just, it's destroying us, Super great movie. 28 Weeks Later did the same thing, just developed more of the social stuff. So I'm stoked. 28 Months Later, I cannot wait. Plus, Danny Boyle's zombies are actually scary. Like, they're actually something to be afraid of. So I'm excited about that. And I think that's all I got news-wise.
Now on to your child-friendly portion of the video.
Yes.
Disney.
Now that wait, we got a couple things to do first before we get to Disney. We're getting there. So for those who watch the show also, or listen to the show, probably watch or are fans of the Arrowverse, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Batwoman, the whole CW series. We have gotten the Crisis on Infinite Earths finally. They've been building it up since season 1 of Flash, so for almost 6 years, and it's been absolutely epic. We got the only thing that makes me mad, and maybe some spoiler alerts here for people who've not seen the episodes, just so you know, is we got the first 3 parts and they stopped. We don't get the next 2 final parts until January 24th, and that infuriates me to no end. Because so far, it's been this crossover event. For those who don't know the story of Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is probably arguably the biggest DC storyline of all time. Yeah. Is in the 80s, the Crisis happened, and you've got 2 main characters, the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor. One is pretty much positive matter, and one is anti-matter. And they're kind of like brothers, but they keep the balance in all the universes in the multiverse. And the Anti-Monitor decides he's just going to wipe out everything. And so that's what he starts doing. He takes out universe after universe after universe and universe. And so the Monitor gathers the greatest heroes among all universes to try and stop the Anti-Monitor. And that is pretty much Crisis on Infinite Earths. And in the comic books, we lose 2 major players.
Yeah, for real.
Flash dies and Supergirl dies in the comic books. Now, in the show, they've changed it a little bit. Oliver, it's kind of been known, he's dying because this is the end of Arrow as well. He's going to be the big sacrifice, the death in Crisis. But we also have been told, and the way it's going is that the Flash is going to die. Well, he did. And it wasn't Grant Gustin's Flash. So for me, it was actually John Wesley Shipp's 90s Flash. And that was as a kid, that was my Flash. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you and especially your brother Caleb, he loves Grant Gustin's Flash. And that's his Flash. But for me, John Wesley Shipp, that's mine. Yeah. And to watch that moment on screen where Barry, the new Barry, Grant Gustin, realizes this is the moment for him to die to save the multiverse. But John Wesley Shipp steps in and says, no, he said the Flash is going to die. He didn't say who. And that to me, that really put such a great ending to that Flash. Because if anyone who's watched the show from the 90s, if you remember, there was no real actual ending. It just kind of they just stopped making episodes. Yeah. So there was no closure. And he's been such a big part of this show that we finally get closure. And dude, I cried. Not going to lie. Dude, I cried. Like when I knew, I was like, dude, he's totally going to die. And he gets up there and he's running on that, super evil treadmill or whatever it is. and they start playing his original music from the 90s show. That's what, dude, when that happened, just tears. I was just like, oh my gosh. Then they show the flashback. So it has been a roller coaster ride. I mean, Oliver's already died, but he's back again.
Yeah.
I mean, then the cameos and Easter eggs in this has been unbelievable because we got Tom Wellington's Superman, Clark Kent.
Not Wellington.
Welling. I didn't care for the show anyways. I've watched 3 episodes. I need to get through it. Of course, he came in, and his episode is probably my favorite as far as the Easter eggs, because he does come in, he plays Clark. He still refused to dress up as Superman, so you don't see him as Superman, but that scene was awesome because it starts off kind of inside his house, and you look out the pans out of a window to him working on this farm, because it's in Smallville. But as it pans across the wall in their house, you see 3 articles on the wall, and obviously him and Lois are married and have kids in this scene. But one of the articles is "The Night I Spent with Superman," and that's the article Margot Kidder's Margot Kidder from the Christopher Reeve Superman's films wrote in Superman 1. So that, man, my heart dropped.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you totally just paid so much respect to Christopher Reeve, and you put those two, Tom Welling's Superman is Christopher Reeve's Superman. I thought that was awesome. It's probably one of the best Easter eggs I've ever seen. That, and when Kate and Supergirl go to see Kevin Conroy's Batman.
Like, that's...
Dude, that was...
I got a funny story about that. I don't know if Dad or Kev told you about this.
Uh-uh.
I was already in bed. For those of you who don't know, I'm working ungodly morning hours right now. Thank you for Christmas shopping, everybody. I appreciate you greatly.
UPS.
So... They're watching this episode, and Mom actually sits down watching it with Dad and Caleb, which is unheard of.
Yeah, I was like, that's weird.
So
she must have been very bored. Had nothing else going on.
So me and Caleb growing up on Kevin Conroy as the animated Batman,
Dude, he is the Batman. He's the Batman.
Like, yeah. Well, everything with him happens, and if I'm not mistaken, he actually dies, right? Like,
yes.
So he dies. Mom just out of nowhere just kind of says, "Man, he was a really awful Bruce Wayne." Caleb, like,
she said that in front of Caleb.
Yes.
Oh.
He sat up like exorcism style, like just flat, like he was laying down on the couch, just flat, straight up, like 90-degree angle. Like just looked at her, was like, "That is the Batman." What are you talking about?
No,
it was. So,
and
I heard him yelling. I was like, "What in the world?"
He played Bruce so well. I mean, yes, he's the Elseworlds Batman. So he's very much anti-Superman. In his universe, he kills Superman.
Yes.
And to me, one of the best Easter eggs was when Kate's going through, Supergirl's looking in that cabinet of his trophies, and you see like the Riddler's broken cane.
Yeah.
But then you see Clark's bloodied, broken glasses. I was like, oh, this is so good. I instantly went and grabbed my Dark Knight's book and just held it. It was like Superman sucks compared to Batman. There you go, Matt. You got one. It's such a good episode. And I mean, not even that. I mean, also, Burt Ward, who was originally Robin, the first Dick Grayson on Adam West Batman, he was in it on one of the Earths, and he had the awesome corny line. It's been amazing. I mean, it's been so good, top notch as far as the story, the character evolution of everybody. We get to see Mia, Oliver's daughter, don the Green Arrow suit for the first time, and it's absolutely moving, super epic. Every bit of it's been great, but the Easter eggs throughout this has been absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. So, but I do hear the Arrow episode, which is the next episode of the 2 left, is going to be the best. Like I've heard, actually, one of the original writers for Crisis wrote the Arrow episode.
Hey now.
Yeah, so this is going to be epic.
I'm about to get caught up before that.
Yeah, got to. So, and if you guys haven't seen it, definitely catch up. The next 2 episodes come out. January 24th is when it shows up again.
Speaking of January.
Yes, speaking of January, actually, before we jump into the song, January's going to be a big month for us, man. We're hitting our 50th episode between the main show and the Monster Movie Stomp Downs. We're hitting the big 5-0 finally. Super excited about it. And so what we decided is for a big 50th episode jamboree, whatever you want to call it, we've been talking about it since the beginning, back when Matt and Tyler was on the show, of doing an all Star Wars episode.
SludgeCast Stomp Down. Let's
that's what it is.
mash them.
I like that, SludgeCast. Yeah, because we're doing a huge episode, all Star Wars. We're bringing back the original crew. Me and Micah will be here, of course. We've got Mark from Mossbury Stomp Down is going to be on here. Ruben from Mossbury Stomp Down's calling in, and then we've got the original co-hosts Matt and Tyler will be back for this big 50th episode, and it's going to be Star Wars start to finish, man.
Great.
We're going to go over everything.
Bunch of nerds just nerding out.
Oh yeah. So we're going to really, and the reason why we haven't talked about it too much here is because some of us have seen Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker. I have not, and some of us have not. But we'll make sure everybody, especially listeners, get time to see the film, and then everybody, of course, that's going to be here, so that we can talk about it. But we're going to talk about everything Star Wars, the history of Star Wars, the spin-offs, whether it's the shows, Star Wars Rebels or Clone Wars, the Ewoks films,
Mandalorian.
The greatest part of me, Mandalorian, yes. Yeah. And I want you to listen to me argue with Ruben about why Revenge of the Sith sucks as a Star Wars film, even though he loves it. But
It's not the worst.
No. Phantom Menace is definitely the worst.
No, Attack of the Clones is the worst.
What? That's the only one that was halfway decently able to watch. We're saving this for the 50th
Yes,
episode.
we are.
We're going on. So, all right. So we've got that coming up in January. Super big episode. It's going to be great. We're going to have everybody back for this one. Going to be a lot of fun. Also, real quick, March, we have another big thing coming up. We will actually doing our first live video podcast. And we're securing a location. We're going to have a guest speaker or guest whatever that's going to be on the show. I'm going to tie that down hopefully tomorrow. I got to meet with him tomorrow, and it's going to be really cool. We're going to have an actual audience there. We're going to do what we do. We're going to have giveaways. It's going to be a really, really cool thing. We really kind of want to push the pop culture stuff in this area, but
absolutely,
I really want to I've been wanting to start moving into video stuff, so we're going to start doing that, and we'll let you know exactly what day in March it happens, but we're going to be sending things out so that you guys can tune in live, of course, with the audience that's going to be there, and of course, if you're listening and you're near the area and would like to join, keep an eye out.
Yeah.
We'd love for you to come down. Justin McLean, worth the drive.
For real.
It'd be great for him to be here.
For
if he was
real.
here, I would totally have him be like, we're going to do a Q&A section for that
absolutely.
show, and I would love for Justin to host that section. So there
Give
you go,
him
Justin. There's your invite. Come host the Q&A for SludgeCast for that first special live showing. So
Do it. It's a threat.
yes, get it done. So all right, but so a lot of cool things coming up. We're super stoked for 2020. A lot of really fun things. So let's go ahead and get this song out of the way. It is Christmas time. So excited for this. Not really. Actually, I am. I'm excited for Christmas, but Christmas wears me out, dude. We go to like 500 places on Christmas Day.
500.
Not really 500, but it feels like it. So, but
Not 500, just 499.
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's really $4.99. It's by the time Christmas evenings here, I'm exhausted. I am so just done.
Put your own presents together, kids.
I know. And that's me being dad. I was like, I gotta put them together. But I'm like, all right, pick one. I'll put it together. The rest of them don't touch till tomorrow. 'Cause I'm not doing it.
Just buy your kids Legos. I mean, they put them together themselves.
That's true.
Like, there you go. Merry
Actually,
Christmas.
I did get the boys some
Put it
Legos.
together.
So they got some Legos. I almost bought because Gavin's always trying to build, help me, and the boys especially. We got what we call Dudes Night, where the girls will be gone or things because Sarah will go out and do her Bible studies, and it'll just be us dudes here. And so we do a Dudes Night, pretty regularly, and we'll order pizza or go get Chinese food or whatever, and we'll watch movies or do something as dudes. And we've been doing a lot of working because I'm building things up in the Nerd Vault. Got to start building the studio stuff down here. And they've been very helpful. So they actually helped me build the shelves for upstairs. And I thought about buying them their own first toolkit or toolbox because Walmart's got one for like $10. And it's even called My First Toolbox.
There you go.
And it's real tools. And I was like, I'm going to get that for the boys.
Yeah.
I know
And
when
then-
we got here, your son was telling me about a shelf in the Nerd Vault, and he was like,
Yeah.
we built that on Dude's Night."
Oh, dude, they love it. It was so, and it was cool. I mean, because I had to cut, I used the skill saw and stuff, or the circular saw to cut it and stuff. But and don't worry, listeners, I didn't let them run. My 5 and 7-year-old
They
run
only
the saw.
lost 2 fingers. It's fine.
They'll live. But they helped, So they helped me mark the boards and they helped me hold the boards while I was cutting it from the far end of the board. So all listeners know. But they like it. That's what you do. Get in that toolbox. Like put your own toys together. From now on, I'm done. Not really. I still enjoy doing it. But all right. So we want to do a Christmas song because it's Christmas time. A song that we've been listening to. I know me and Mike have both listened to it. Absolutely love it. It's a band called Small Town Titans. They do a lot of covers. They have probably I think the best version of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. And there's just Prodigy Sixes is pretty boss, but his voice on this one is phenomenal. I
just
love
got
his
to
voice.
hear this. I just got to hear this for the first time tonight, and I'm gonna say It's pretty rad.
Oh, dude,
I mean, it's
so
pretty good.
His voice
Project
is
86
epic.
just makes me want a horror movie Grinch.
That's very. Could you imagine?
Gosh, it
Oh,
would
that
work
be
so
good.
well.
Oh, it would be perfect. I need to throw some bugs out to some people's ears. Like, we need a horror movie with the Grinch. Because, I mean, Krampus by Michael. Dang it! Just lost his name. He did Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Michael Bay?
No, there was like no explosions in that movie. Michael Bay, it's 100 explosion requirement. But Krampus was done a few years ago, and man, that was great. I love that. So I'd love a Grinch horror movie. Somebody needs to do it. So let's check it out real quick. We're gonna do Small Town Titans. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. And when we get back, it's Disney time.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus and as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. Just face the music, you're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole. You're a vile one, Mr. Grinch. You got termites in your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, Mr. Grinch. Well, given the choice between the two of you, I would take the seasick crocodile. You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch. You're a nasty, wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks and your soul is full of gunk, Mr. Grinch. The three best words I would use to describe you are as follows, and I quote: Stag! 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 Yeah! Oh, yeah, yeah!
And we're back, and hopefully you guys, I mean, you had to enjoy that voice. Like, I Dude's got some pipes
Something
on
special.
him.
It's
Oh
something
man, it's
special.
so good. And you really can't. I mean, there's so many great Christmas songs, but dude, Grinch is where it's at.
Yes.
Like, well, we were even talking about the Grinch movie before we started this show because I watched an episode of Fat Man Beyond, Kevin Smith's podcast, and Rick Baker. He's retired, but I mean, special effects guru extraordinaire. Who also played King Kong in the 76 remake, he did The Grinch with Jim Carrey, and he was talking about how rough it was dealing with Jim Carrey on that. But Grinch is where it's at. It's probably, I mean, that's one of my favorite Christmas movies is Jim Carrey's Grinch. It's so
it
good.
Probably is my favorite.
I mean, Die Hard's my favorite and the best, but
Not a Christmas
it's a Christmas movie. But so, all right, man, it's Disney time.
Yay, now I can talk about stuff.
Walter's like, woo! It's been a big couple of years for Disney. I mean, of course, obviously with the Marvel, we're not getting into the Marvel stuff. We want to jump back into the Disney properties because they've been doing the live action remakes, and of course they got the new stuff. Animated films that are coming out or sequels. I know real new ones, but sequels. And we want to talk about the big five that's come out here recently. Of course, in order being Dumbo, Aladdin, Toy Story 4, Lion King, and Frozen 2. Now, Walter, you've seen them all, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I will admit, I just finished watching Dumbo for the first time today. I had to make sure to get
You
it in.
got it
I just
in on
never,
time.
yeah,
There you go.
I just never had a chance to actually go see it in the theater.
Now, a question before we get into it, though. Talking about these new ones, have you seen the original Dumbo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I have.
I think you said that last time we talked about it. So, okay. Micah, what have you not watched?
We're going to insert a quick cough moment here for Micah and just say, Aladdin and Lion King, but cough Star Wars. So we're going to leave it at that.
So you've seen 2 of the 5. I have seen 4 of the 5. The one I haven't got to see yet is Frozen 2. So for those, because I know it's still kind of new, spoiler alert, we will be discussing Frozen 2 on this one. So I'm still, when it comes to these live action films, because also we got 2 animated ones in here we'll get to. We're going to go piece by piece. Walter's definitely going to push this one a lot as far as these movies because she's the expert in the house. I'm still really torn. I'm kind of half and half when it comes to Disney's live action takes. I'll
totally admit, when I saw these trailers and stuff coming out and the talks about all the new movies, at first I was like, oh, yay, a new movie. And I was like, if you look at all 5 of these that we're about to discuss, they're either a live action of a movie that was already made or a sequel. And so I was really concerned, like, they're not doing something like brand new. Like, they're taking an old cartoon one and then just making it live action, which I think is good. I like being able to see it live action and some of the stories they've been able to turn around, which we'll get into. But I've just been concerned about like them, making a part 2 of something. Now on Toy Story, we're on a part 4 of it, and so like,
which was we didn't even need a part 3, but
yeah.
So, I mean, it's and we'll start with Dumbo. Dumbo to me, I think is what I know. I remember we talked about this earlier in the year where I was so pro Dumbo's going to be the best one. In my opinion, it still is, but money making wise, to me, Dumbo. One, I love the original film. Definitely my favorite of the original Disney cartoons, or all the any Disney cartoon. Dumbo's still my favorite. I just love the story, love the vibe of it. For Dumbo, I actually really liked the live action one because it made sense to do it live action. It was absolutely, of course, having Tim Burton do it was the best.
I think you're just
idea.
a Tim Burton fanatic.
I am a Tim Burton fanatic, man. I love Tim Burton. But I mean, the visuals, of course, Dumbo looked amazing in the movie. But I mean, you had a great cast. Of course, I loved, even though it wasn't Batman and Penguin, I loved getting to see Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito on screen, together again since 1990 or whatever it was. I thought they were great. Keaton was great. DeVito was great. Colin Farrell was great. Like, the story was really good. And the pacing was great. I mean, every bit of it was awesome. But visually, it was absolutely stunning. And with Dumbo, you really saw the emotion of Dumbo.
Oh, yeah.
When he was excited, you could tell. Because the character doesn't talk. And I love that. And that's one of the things that I'll talk about when we get to Lion King that there's one thing I didn't like because of it being live action. But Dumbo I loved because it made sense live action. It worked as live action, and you were able to get all the feelings and emotions, and plus it was just an absolutely beautiful film.
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
So I've never, I guess, loved the old original Dumbo as
Mhm.
much. Even I had watched it a lot as a kid, I guess, and then recently I was like, hey, I need to watch that again. Like, it's been so long. I want to watch it again. I started watching it, and I was like really trying to find the energy to finish it. Like I was like,
It's pretty depressing.
yeah, and like I couldn't put myself into it. And I guess it was the cartoon, and I'm like the colors and everything, and I'm expecting the happiness. And Tim Burton, if I could say his name, Tim Burton, being able to bring in, like I mean, it was a darker film, like it was, and it's not even like dark, like scary, creepy, but just like
the palette of it.
Yeah, it wasn't
really
like
is.
the sun was always shining, and it wasn't like rainbows everywhere or anything. Like it was hard truth is basically what it was, and I loved it. I totally agree. Dumbo's emotions, you could see it in his face without him saying a single word. You could tell, my heart was breaking when he's sitting there wanting his mom or he's taken away from her. And the moment whenever he got to break out of like the circus arena and fly to go find her, like I mean, my heart literally like it basically broke because I was like, he knows where she's at, and he's drawn to her so much, and he loves her so much and misses her.
Yeah.
And like as soon as he had that exit, he was gone. Like there was no stopping him. He didn't care who was around him. His mind was totally on I'm finding her, like, and I'm getting back to her. And when they had first locked her up, and he goes and like is lifting his legs up, and like he wraps his trunk around hers. I mean, like, it just hit me right in the feels, man. Right in the feels.
It will, dude. It'll bring tears to your eyes.
Yeah, and it brought like a lot of realism to it and everything. Like the father with his children and everything being there.
Yeah.
And
which
like,
again, Colin did a great job in that role. So good.
The lessons that they all learned through that, and watching them grow to love Dumbo. At the beginning he was mad about everything, and mad about the horses being gone. I could care less if horses are there or not.
Like, let them leave. We don't need them.
Sell them all. But
fight.
I've done that before. I'm done now. I won't do it again. But seeing him grow to love Dumbo, and watching that love grow to the point of at the end, he didn't care about the money. He didn't care about like his fame or anything like that. He was saying, okay, guys, like we're going to get Jumbo back. Like that's what Miss Jumbo, we're going to get her because that's what we have to do. So I thought it was
totally
great
forgot
movie.
the mom's name was Jumbo, and I was like,
Mrs. Jumbo.
It's Dumbo, guys. It's not Jumbo. Who the heck is Jumbo?
It's the mom.
Micah, sweetie,
It's the mom.
don't correct me at Disney.
Fair enough.
Got you.
Of all 5 of the movies, I would say Dumbo came in at number 3 for me.
Number 3 for you.
Number 3,
Totally
yeah.
number 1 for me. Still totally number 1.
I could totally see that.
I mean,
I thought it was great. I mean, we'll go back into my list later as well, but the movies that it went over top of, I think it definitely deserved it over top of those. And the movies that it was a little bit underneath right there, I feel like they totally deserved it too. So we'll get into it
I mean,
more,
there's some good ones, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just
it is one of those. Dumbo definitely is probably, other than like the one scene in Pinocchio, probably the darkest of the Disneys.
Yeah.
And again, not because it's scary, it's just the tone, And I think that's what I liked about
It's depressing.
Dumbo so much in comparison to it is depressing, really is. I think
if you look at all the classic cartoon movies like that, there was something Walt had in him that was so depressing about Fox and the Hound and Dumbo and Pinocchio and Bambi. I mean, like all of these things that rips your heart out.
To me, I think, and it really predates this happening, but it's almost like he was almost prophetic with this film, losing his mother.
Yeah.
And how traumatizing that was to him and his dad, I don't know. When I look at it back, of course, again, Dumbo came out way before that happened. To me, it's almost like he had a fear of that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And the fact that Dumbo was so caught up in trying to get back to his mom. Mm-hmm. Like even though we never see Miss Jumbo die, Mrs. Jumbo die in any of it, you see her just simply taken away, and how much stress and fear that puts on him. Yeah,
I think that's, again, kind of years before, about the almost prophetic of the way I think how he dealt with it. Yeah, I almost feel like, man, you really should have made this after. Yeah. But either way, great movie. Number 1 for me for this list of these recent Disney films. But of course, that came first. Next came Aladdin, and I think that was probably the scariest one as far as coming out for all us because of no Robin Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, I could totally dig in onto a live action Aladdin. It makes sense. You got the special effects to do, to do a genie, because that's really the only difficult part in it.
Yeah.
To do.
I mean, the scenery is totally, like, it's just
man,
out
it's
there. Yeah.
It's beautiful. That movie is beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Got
film.
Richie for you.
Dude, it's because he's the man.
Yeah.
Like, Guy Ritchie's good. I mean, this is, for me, this was number 2. Aladdin was number 2. Very close to Dumbo because Dumbo holds a special place in my heart. But it really is. Directors really make a difference, and I'm a Guy Ritchie fanatic, dude. All the way back to Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, the Sherlock Holmes films, Rock and Rolla. I love Guy Ritchie stuff. And you can definitely tell his flair's on this. But with the colors and the extravagance and the scenery is super good.
Yeah.
But, of course, the thing that everyone wanted to know the most before it came out was Will Smith. How was he going to do as Genie? I want to know, Walter, how did you think he did?
So first of all, I'll just go ahead and say Aladdin is my number 1 of this 5.
Will knocked it out of the park, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I loved this movie. Like you said, the scenery is absolutely gorgeous. The costumes, like everything they did, I feel like every scene, if you took it clip by clip, that like it's just all gorgeous. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, everything about it. The music in this was fantastic. I mean, the people that they got for the movies, Naomi Scott. I mean, oh my gosh,
dude, what's that?
her voice.
What's the song she sings in this?
Speechless.
Oh my gosh, that's
I
so
literally
good.
bought that CD. I have the CD, the DVD, and the vinyl record.
What?
Of all of the new live action Aladdin because I love it so much. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, the music's great in it. Speechless left me speechless. Really left me speechless.
It. And I love going back to the thing you were saying about Genie. One thing that I absolutely love that they did stay away from, I'm happy about it. A lot of people were saying they were really struggling with the fact that Will Smith didn't say the same quotes as Robin Williams did in the old original Aladdin. And I honestly could not be more grateful that he shied away from that and that they didn't force him, because if he would have tried to say every line the same and with the same personality, he would have just been a copycat who wouldn't have done it as good because, so many movies come out and they're not as good as the original.
No, that's so true.
So the fact that he didn't try to go into it thinking, okay, I'm going to be a Robin Williams, like he knew I can't be him, so I'm going to be me.
Had to be Fresh Prince.
That did such a big favor for him. I mean, he was hysterical through it all. Like the sassiness he brought into everything, even just being able to see Genie like as a person there in front of you and seeing his emotions and everything like that. I mean, it was just, I feel like he did a great job. And people keep asking me, who is your favorite? Like if you just pull out the genies, who is your favorite? And I genuinely can't decide. And I feel like that's a cop out, but they're so vastly different. You can't just say I like this genie better. They
really are.
They're so there's a couple of lines that were like so great to the original that they kind of threw in there to kind of keep some of that classic into the live action. But I mean, they're so different. You can't try to put them in the same ballpark, even though it's the same character, same movie. I mean, they played it differently, and Will Smith did amazing because he was being himself and wasn't trying to be Robin Williams.
We're seeing all these live action remakes of the cartoons. There's differences, but there's never been a thing on any of these so far where I'm like, this was drastically different, or this was Will Smith was completely different. I mean, he's the most original thing in all of these live action films because he had to do his own thing, and not be Robin. And he did so good. I loved his story in this one too. I mean, everything was super, super good. Yeah, this movie was great. Number 2 for me, definitely on the list. I think they knocked out of the ballpark. The soundtrack, man, just every bit of it. I loved every bit of this movie.
Gosh, I loved it too, and
every bit.
Maybe not the bird.
Yeah,
there's. I was going to say there are some
complaint.
aspects of it that I feel like they did take big risks with some of the stuff that they changed up in it, which can be good. It was
stupid
good with
risk.
It was good with Micah is just upset about Iago. I definitely feel like Iago played a massive part in the original in the cartoon, and I feel like that was definitely cut way more than in half, probably about 99% of it.
Mm-hmm.
He says a couple of lines throughout, but there's nothing about I'm gonna stuff his face full of cracker, like nothing.
Yeah,
it's the best line in the entire movie.
Yeah, nothing like him being himself. Like he acts like the bird in front of the Sultan and stuff in the cartoon, and then this one it was just he didn't have his own mind. And they played up Abu, and I love Abu. They did play him up a lot, and I thought that was great. But I did really miss Iago, and I also really missed that Jafar never turned into the snake, and there wasn't even a snake that came out.
Yeah, that was a big
even if he didn't become it. Yeah, because you see it as
I mean, if you're
he
going to have a
becomes-
genie, you can have a giant snake.
Oh yeah,
You know,
as
totally
he
can.
turns into the genie and stuff, or into a genie, or the most powerful sorcerer, he has, like, you see the castle and it's starting to turn in, like, the figures and things, and art around the castle is all, like, you see snakes everywhere. And there's one part, there's a fountain in the center, and it's like this big snake
Oh,
all
yeah,
woven through the
yep.
fountain. And you can even ask Micah, I was smacking him the whole time saying, that's going to be, like, that snake is going to come to life. Like, watch, that snake's going to come to life. And then all of a sudden, he was wishing to be genie and then was in the bottle and he was gone. And I was like, wait a second. Like,
Yeah.
why? Why weren't you there? And I did like the fact that they did turn Iago into the quote unquote demon bird.
It
A little
wasn't
bit.
a supplement. No.
No.
It
that
wasn't a
wasn't good enough.
supplement, but I'm happy it wasn't just a thing of, no snake, we don't need anything like that. We'll just cut it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they gave us something, but the snake would have been cooler. And I know
I would
Iago
rather
would
have
have
nothing.
than the big giant evil. He looked a lot like the giant claw from a classic science fiction film that's very, very bad. But I mean, still, even though with its flaws, Aladdin was pretty. Dude, it was dope. It was good.
Yeah. Even with a couple of things I struggled with, even when I was watching, I was disappointed almost at the end. I still could put it on at almost any time, listen to the music in my car. When I'm at the house, I put on the record, like just anything like that. I love Aladdin so much.
It's very good.
It's my favorite of the two I've seen.
Other two you've seen? It's your favorite. I mean, it was really, really good. I agree. So, and then of course next was the first animated one we've gotten, and that's Toy Story 4.
Micah, you haven't even seen it.
I don't even want to see it. There's no point
So,
in seeing it.
For me going into this one, because I'm a fan of the original, I love the first Toy Story. And I've stated to Walter a few times that I think they could have just stopped there and should have. But I do agree with her getting Jesse. The second one was good, and was worth having. The third one was absolutely horrible. I did not like that one. So after the third one, I'm like, what? Why are we doing a 4? What's the point in 4? And you had seen it before any of us had seen it, where you haven't seen it yet, though.
No.
Okay, so you saw it before I saw it, because we were talking about, I was like, I need to make sure and watch these movies before.
Yeah.
Because you had to watch Dumbo, I had to watch Toy Story 4 and Frozen 2, which I still didn't get a chance to watch Frozen 2. But finally got to watch Toy Story 4, and I love Forky. Forky's
Yeah.
hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
he cracks me up.
I keep telling people when they ask me about it, I'm like, listen, if you took the first 2 Toy Story movies, if you took all of them away, and this was the first Toy Story movie that had ever come out, and it was just kind of like a fun thing out there, it's like, I think it'd be a great movie. Like, oh yeah, take your kid to that. That'd be cool. But it, when you have that storyline behind that you're trying to
is
pick
not
things up from.
Andy.
Yeah, Bonnie is not Andy. It broke my heart, and with the third one, I was younger when the third one came out, and I guess I didn't have as much of an opinion. And for me, it was just like, oh, a Disney movie, yay! I love it. And so, but now looking back at it, the first and the second, I definitely think could have stopped. The third one, it was like, okay, you gave him a stopping point, stop, and then they came out with number 4, and it was like, oh, okay.
It was just I felt like it was a giant rehash, really.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, it was more about, honestly, Woody than anything else.
I felt like it just kept pulling up part of my childhood and then just shooting it like right in front of me.
Yeah, it's like,
I got a bone to pick with Bonnie. Who wants to play with a stupid fork over Buzz freaking Lightyear?
Okay, that's very true. Now I will say though, if the kids could hear the toys talk and stuff and see their personalities, I totally would play with Forky over Buzz Lightyear. He cracked me up, man. Trash. Like I loved Forky.
Trash.
Dude, it's like I'm Bonnie's trash. I loved it. That whole reveal there on the highway.
He says like, I was made for salad, chili, or whatever, and then he's like, and then trash.
And then trash. I mean, he was good. But that's really the only thing I enjoyed about that movie, because it took me a while to really, I'm like, oh, because I ended up stopping at I think I had like 20, 30 minutes to go. It was something. They were in the antique shop rescuing Forky, and the Evil Knievel dude, the Canadian guy.
The evil Knievel.
Dave was his name. Dave, Doug. I can't even remember
Gosh,
now.
I watched it when it was in the theater when it first came out, and I haven't seen it since. I'll go ahead and say it's on the bottom of my list. It's the very last one of the 5 that came out this year. I thought it was a good movie. I really enjoyed Forky, but after it was like with the third one, they kind of ripped your heart out a little bit with them leaving Andy.
Mhm.
And then it was hard enough to be like, okay, they have Bonnie now. It's okay.
Yeah,
like,
and
you know, that was
it was
kind
super
of him
rushed.
to give her, or kind of him to give her, you know, all of his toys. And then Woody leaves again for a girl. And I was like, man,
So rehashed.
like
It's just-
you cut Buzz and Woody in half. Like, what type of criminal are you?
yeah, and I
What
feel like
type of criminal?
they are because like Buzz, like I felt like I'm like, man, I don't remember him being this stupid in the 3 previous films. He's like, when he's talking about his inner voice, he's like, what do you mean inner voice? And he starts putting his buttons. Oh, thanks, inner voice. I'm like,
yeah.
they dumbed him down. If I was Tim Allen, I'd be furious. I'm like, Buzz is not that big of an idiot. He was in this movie. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, it's actually, ironically, this is actually because I haven't seen Frozen 2. Frozen 2, I will let you know, is going to be at the bottom, only because I haven't seen it.
And you have low expectations.
And I have very low expectations for that film. Very low. I
In
did not like the first
general
one.
or with Frozen?
just with that movie. Like, Olaf is my only hope for this film. But with Toy Story, it actually comes in at number 3 above Lion King, mainly only because I got more entertainment out of Forky than I did all of Lion King, which we'll just transition right into. Lion King was next, and Micah's. So are you disappointed with me, sir? I want to tell you what. I mean, Lion King. No, let's hear y'all's.
I'm going to take the reins on this one here because this is not a bad movie.
This is a horrible
No,
movie.
it's not.
You got 30 seconds to sell
Can
me.
I just
Otherwise,
okay? Micah's favorite cartoon movie probably in the world is Lion King. So
dude, I love
it's
that
kind
movie.
of it's kind
Batman
of like
Under the Red
Dumbo.
Hood. But
yeah.
Okay, all right.
That's
I'm
second.
sorry. His
You're
favorite Disney.
Disney.
Yes,
Solo
there we go.
properties. Yeah.
Should have clarified. I'm sorry.
It's not that bad.
Are
It's
you kidding
really-
me?
No, I'm not.
This is the first off, no Jeremy Irons. Okay, that's a problem.
Okay.
Okay, already off the bat. Don't like Scar because it's not Jeremy. But dude, it is so far. No, I told you I'll give you the floor.
No, you're
Y'all
fine.
give the floor.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is of all the live actions, this was the farthest away from needed and farthest away from the spirit of the original film that I could possibly see of any of them. Like, I did not feel anything
I didn't feel emotion in it.
at all.
Like,
and that's my
with
biggest problem with
Dumbo,
the film.
I was showing you when I was watching the Dumbo movies. Like, you could see either the excitement or like the sadness in
that's
his eyes, and like
Lion,
I mean, part of me
Pastor Matt
almost
said
feels
too,
like-
lions don't smile.
part
You know?
of me almost feels like the thing of, you know, everyone was saying when the trailer first came out for the new Lion King, they were like, are you telling me we have to watch Mufasa die in HD? Like, how are you expecting?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there watching Simba's face, and I was like,
Dude, your dad
like
died.
that's not, yeah. I'm like, dude, are you gonna cry? Because like I feel worse than you do, and it's your dad. Like, what's
yeah.
wrong here?
That was, dude, I can't get on board with this
I
film.
needed emotion
Can't.
in it.
Can't.
I really did.
I mean, the voice actors were phenomenal.
No Jeremy Irons. We'll state that one more time.
Okay,
I was
Pumbaa,
let down from that
Simba,
as
or-
soon.
Pumbaa and Timon.
I was let down with Jeremy Irons as soon as it released. I was prepared for it. I was prepared not to love my favorite Disney villain, which is Scar.
Mhm.
I was prepared for it. I can't even. Is it Chitwell Ejiofor? Is his name?
Something like that, yeah.
I'm sorry if I butchered that. He'll never listen to this, but it's fine.
My bad, man. Said your name wrong.
I still think he did a good job for the level he had to live up to.
It's a pretty high level.
There's no way he could reach Jeremy Irons, but yeah, I do think he did good. James Earl Jones, as always, is phenomenal.
I could just listen to him talk. Like, I would
Yes,
love to go
like,
to sleep with just a
well,
tape of him talking.
Yes,
He don't even have to make
Yes.
sense. Just say words. Just read the dictionary, and I would totally, like, that'd be great.
apples,
Yeah.
fruit growing from trees.
I would love it.
Yeah, I think Donald Glover did really good. I do think it was unfair for him to have to sing with Beyonce.
Yeah,
He
that
can't even-
was.
because he's a rapper. Like, he's not like he can sing. Beyonce's on a different level, but
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
You think I'm close.
I
Auto-tune.
loved Timon and Pumbaa.
I will
That's
say that.
the high
I did
point of
love
this
them.
movie.
I did love
Yeah,
them.
that was the high point of this movie, definitely.
See, and the thing is,
But-
this isn't Lion King 1.5 though. It's the first one, so they aren't in it as much.
Yeah. No.
as-
But
And if they would have been, maybe it would have been a little bit better for me.
'Cause, I mean, when I first watched it, it was the biggest struggle for me to get through until Timon and Pumbaa hit the screen.
Right.
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 And then I was like, okay, you're at least popping in every now and then to keep me entertained.
well, man, I like that they did more with the hyenas. A lot of people didn't seem to like that. I enjoyed that because we didn't know much about them other than scavengers who followed Scar.
Well, they had to
Yeah.
make up some way of not having Jeremy Irons, so more hyenas. That's what it was.
That's gonna be the comeback for everything.
It is. No Jeremy Irons.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. Like, yeah.
And the biggest, I mean, and it did tons of freaking money. It's Disney.
No.
It's Lion King.
But my big thing with these Disney remakes is they're never going to be as good as the original.
No,
I
no.
don't think this new Aladdin is as good as the original. Never
Nope.
will be.
Nope.
This new Lion King's not. This new Mulan is going to be like an F, like awful. You
I
can't
thought you were
do
going to be
Mulan
really
without-
mad about this one for a second. I'm like,
Dude.
oh, he's going to stab this movie. Yeah,
I'm-
it's going to be awful.
No,
Because, well, one, you didn't got Eddie
Mushu.
Murphy. Or, yeah, at all. He's not there.
Why?
That's just stupid.
Anyway,
Can we just have a moment of silence for Mushu, please?
Yes.
moment. Okay.
Oh, there we go. And I'm in agreement. I mean, these Disney movies, the only one I think has come even close.
Is Aladdin.
Well, I was actually going to say Beauty and the Beast.
Mm.
Like, to me, I thought that was actually overall.
I would say Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast have been my two favorite
Those are-
live action.
those are
over-
really, really
over
good.
All of them.
Not like live action Beauty and the Beast.
I thought I like dude Luke Evans. Like I watch that dude in anything. It don't matter.
Fair enough.
Like I love
quite
Luke
honestly.
Evans. I mean, I hate Gaston. I hate Gaston's character. I hated him in the cartoon. I love Luke Evans. That's all I watch him as Gaston all day long. Doesn't matter to me. But I mean, you're right. They're not going to live up to these originals. They're never going to. No sequel, no remake will. They may be one or two remakes.
Watch
that are
yourself
better.
on
Yeah.
that one.
There may be a couple remakes that are better. But as far as the Disneys, they're not. And I think the biggest beef I had with Lion King was the lack of emotion. You know what I mean?
and I understand that.
You know,
I
we
struggled
got
a lot with the lack of emotion. My biggest struggle came from, I think, the music from it.
yeah, it was not as
Be
good to me.
prepared. I will agree with Micah. Scar is one of my favorite Disney villains. But Be Prepared is my favorite villain song of them all. And I knew I wasn't expecting what I had heard before, but like the words weren't the same. Like so much of
Yeah.
it was taken away, and it hurt so much because I was like, oh, like I love that song, like that Scar, like that is him.
Oh yeah,
and like
and
that's
again-
what he's saying
Yeah.
he's all about. That's his plan, and he's spilling it to the hyenas, and that's just like it's kind of cut out. And the other thing was when they sang "I Just Can't Wait to Be King." You know, you have they're still young at that point. And, you know, in the original cartoon movie, they sound like kids singing it, you know,
Yeah.
like they just sound like joyful and chipper. And in the new one, like, I mean, the lions are hitting riffs and like, like, and I was like, no,
yeah.
like you're still a child. Sing like you're a kid.
Yep.
Like you're not Beyonce yet. It's older and all of like chill.
Yeah. It's
I feel like had this been, like she said, 1.5 or even the second Lion King, it would have been a lot better. Because I feel like Lion King 2 has a lot more one-dimensional characters other than Scar.
no definitely.
You have, what's her name? The evil lion that I'm thinking of.
I can't remember her name.
But her, like, she's
It
just
starts
very
with,
one.
like a Z or something.
Yeah.
Zira, I think.
Yeah.
But like, she's very one-dimensional. Scar is like, yeah, he's got levels
Dude, he's
to
one of the
him.
yeah, he's very, very much one of the best Disney villains out
So-
there. So, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I mean, I'm not going to call it a decent film. I can't get past the lack
I
of
know
emotion.
you can't.
It is so hard for me to be like, oh, I can't do
Now,
it.
in no way am I
It-
saying I would rather watch this than the cartoon. I hope
Oh,
that's
no
not,
way.
like-
No way. Anybody
like,
who says they want to
shoot
watch
me
the,
if I said that.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah. If you are listening, or anybody out there says I like the live action more than the cartoon, you deserve to be drug out in the street and beat with pallets. So,
Okay.
I mean that's just you cannot do that. So
Yeah. Lion King comes in at number 4 for me.
Number
so
4.
like right above Toy Story, but they're kind of
Okay, it's
At
not in the bottom.
that-
I can handle
at
it.
that same
well,
area.
I think
so
it's 4 for me too, right? 1, 2, yeah, it's 4 for me.
it puts me at Aladdin number 1. Second, we haven't gone over yet. Dumbo is 3rd, Lion King is 4th, and Toy Story is 5th. So number 2 comes in at Frozen 2.
See now, and if in all honesty, Olaf probably is way better than Lion King. Period. But I mean, if I'd have seen Frozen 2, Lion King probably would be number 5 for me. But I haven't, so in all fairness, I had to put it number 5. I mean,
Victory by default, baby.
Yeah, woo!
Or I could
with,
show you the trailer, and that would
Stop.
be I
with,
just had
with the
to, sorry.
original Frozen, I just didn't get into that one. Like I didn't enjoy it that much. except for Olaf and the moose. What was the moose's name? Did the moose have a name? Sven. They were great. I want a whole movie of Olaf and Sven. That's
Who's
all
the
I want.
funky looking donkey over there? Oh, that's Sven. And who's the reindeer?
Dude, he's so good. So I mean, I haven't seen it yet. I was trying to see it before the show, before we did this. But I mean, honestly, going into that movie, my expectations are so low that my only hope is Olaf. So please tell me he delivers.
So Olaf definitely delivers. I feel like he made this film so good. Yeah, I like the second one better than the first. I just really did.
I've heard that from a lot of people,
and
actually.
I don't know if it was because the first was so overdone, or because of the. I really struggled with kind of the aspect of Anna even saying, "We're gonna get married. We just met tonight, and we're gonna get married." And Elsa's like, "You can't do that." And then she just kind of blows up, and all of this comes from Anna wanting to marry someone she just met. And I was like, "Listen, that's stupid. Like your older sister, the queen, is right. Listen to her." And then all this stuff explodes on her. And yeah, they learn love, but they had to go through all of that to figure out that they really loved each other, or but I mean, I just loved Frozen 2. Olaf definitely did a great job. I mean, he cracks me up in this movie. Whenever
he was so good.
This may ruin it for some people, but like whenever he's going through the enchanted forest and he's looking for people and he's calling people's names, and then it's probably my favorite scene. And he's like, Elsa, Kristoff, Sven, like he's calling their names, and then he goes, Samantha? And he stops and goes, I don't even know a Samantha. He busts out laughing at himself at the fact that he doesn't even know what he's saying. And he gives like a nice 30-second spill of it's nice, a good recap of the entire first movie and then what you've seen so far in the second movie. And I mean, oh gosh, he's just hysterical. The way he describes things, and he just makes the movie, and he's still there, and he's always so caring through it, and he's just himself. He's a happy, bubbly person, or snowman. Sorry, I don't mean to offend. But I loved it, and
that's so good.
I also
Frosty is pissed at this point. That was good. I like that.
10-minute break. Bye.
Oh gosh.
Sorry, that was great.
You're good. I definitely feel like if you would have taken Olaf out, it would not have been anywhere near as good of a movie. I probably would put it maybe under Toy Story 4 if he wasn't in there. Just because he brings so much life into it and so much like fun into it. But I really did love the movie even apart from him. I keep saying it and I'll say it again. The music from these movies, like a lot of them, they have just been so good. And Frozen 2 had some great music in it. I mean, like Let It Go, that was the best that they had for some
America
years.
needs to let that song go.
Yes.
Since 2013, you hear the words "Let It Go" or just someone saying, "You need to let that go," and they're like, "Haha, Elsa." I'm like, no,
haha, die.
Yeah, the moment someone starts on it, I'm like, "Where's my ice pick? It's got to go in my ear." Did they have ones? And I haven't heard from since it's out long. Is there a song equivalent to?
There is
Panic at the Disco, baby. That's the only hope.
There's actually Elsa kind of.
It's got Panic at Disco in it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into this. All right. So
I'm excited now.
There's a lot to say. So there's actually kind of two songs that you could kind of put as Elsa's song.
Uh-huh.
The first one is just kind of like I don't know. It's called End of the Unknown, and at the end when the credits are playing, Panic at the Disco does do that song again. Like they sing
do
their version of it.
Oh, sweet.
However, the one that is the big Elsa hit, like her moment of stepping out and saying like, "Here I am, this is me," whatever. Her song is "Show Yourself." And oh my gosh, I've been listening to that probably ever since I watched the movie in theaters. I mean, it's just so good. Basically, there's a lot of elements that they talk about to the world, like wind, fire, water, and earth.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a fifth element, and it's calling to Elsa. And so like she is going after it. And at the end, she's saying in this song, "Show yourself." And she keeps saying like, "I'm dying to meet you. And like, I want to know who you are. Don't hide yourself anymore. And like, just let me know who you are." And she's singing out like so much, and it's the notes, and everything like that is better than Let It Go to me. I mean, just all of it. It is so good, and like the story behind it, and I feel like the lesson that she's learning in it is better because when she sings Let It Go, she is by herself and kind of isolating herself, saying like, I'm going to let my power go and stay in this castle. But singing Show Yourself, it's like her really finding out who she is and not trying to shut people out anymore. And I mean, it just, it's so amazing. I love it. However,
but is it Panic at the Disco?
My favorite song from the entire movie is Into the Unknown by Panic at the Disco.
Yes.
It beats Elsa's version that she sings in the movie. Like, it's good. It's a good song.
That man can sing.
I mean,
Yeah, he can.
Oh, my gosh. If you guys have not listened to it, then just go pull it up on YouTube. I mean, it's not going to
I'm going
spoil.
to the show. I'm totally going to.
It's really not going to spoil anything for you, I don't think. Just go watch it.
You're just going to hear some sweet vocals.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm like, all right. So that's the first thing I'm doing when we hit stop. I'm pulling that up. So
He does so good.
Well, I
So
mean,
good.
you know, I'm like what you stated earlier. You know, I want Disney to do something original with the properties, create a new character, create a new storyline instead of doing this live action remake or sequels. You know, it's like, come on, give us something new. But something I do want to, I thought would be really cool since we went through these, and we are getting more live action films. You know, obviously we got Mulan coming, which is not going to be good. Yeah, I'm not excited about that whatsoever.
I'm not either. I am the Disney one, and I'm not excited for that.
Like I'm you know, the Robin Hood is supposed to be coming pretty soon, and I'm pretty excited about that because I want to see the live action foxes, and I mean it's gonna be. I think that will be kind of cool.
That's I love.
As long as they do what they did in Dumbo, as long as we can see the emotion.
I was gonna say, I
Jungle King.
feel like Robin Hood done by Tim Burton would be.
Oh, that would be epic.
A great.
I think it's gonna be a lot better.
I feel like that's a great setting.
It really is. I really do, especially with the songs.
Yeah.
Like music wise, be really good.
Naughty, naughty.
Man, it would be so good. So okay, so with we know we've got a lot more live actions coming. This is something I want to definitely ask before we end the show off. What I want to know what you guys think. What DC, where am I at? Disney.
Yes, DC.
Yeah, DC all the way. What Disney cartoon, classic cartoon, Disney property only, that hasn't been made into a live action movie yet? Because we know where they're doing all the big hitters. Would you like to see be done as a live action?
Oh, goodness. You should have texted me about this.
We're counting Robin Hood.
A lot to think about.
Well, not counting Robin because Robin Hood's coming. We know it's coming. Yeah,
because that's number one on my list.
I was gonna say, I genuinely thinking about that. Robin Hood done by Tim Burton would be.
Oh, that
would be
really
great.
Cool.
For me, it's like this is my favorite old Disney cartoon, Fox and the Hound.
Man, that would be a sad movie too.
It would.
Tim Burton just give him all the sad original.
He would kill it. He would not have the park with those. Fox and that's a good one. I think that'd be really good.
Oh, I love that.
Are you sticking with? We can't do Robin Hood. We know it's coming. Give us another one.
Yeah, no, I'm not sticking with it. I'm just saying like that's
that one. I'm
Burton,
excited.
Yeah, give it to him. Gosh, there's so many, and I'm trying to even think of all the ones they've done and that they haven't done. Like I was so excited to see Beauty and the Beast.
We totally skipped out on Maleficent too. Did any of us see that?
I did not. I forgot to see that one. Yeah,
no,
we did
I
not talk
haven't
about
I
that
totally
one.
just sat here and I was like, "Hey, Sleeping Beauty."
all
Oh
about
wait,
that.
Maleficent exists.
Yes, no, totally forgot about that one. Man, if I didn't get a chance to see it. The first one
No, I
was
haven't got to see it.
unbelievable.
So
Finally
for
watched it.
everyone
have
who
seen
has
the
been
first one.
crucifying us, like cussing us because we forgot that
they're
movie,
going, man, they're not talking about this movie. Sorry, we didn't see it. My bad.
it doesn't exist if we didn't see
yeah,
it.
it's not real. It's not real. Totally not real.
In my defense, for all you people who are getting angry, I was still kind of in recovery when it was coming out.
Yeah, she fought a horse.
Yeah, so
She
just
fought a
open your-
horse.
She's good to go. Yeah, she gets.
Who's Maleficent? Did she fight a horse? No, get off my back.
But so yeah, I mean, what would it be? What one can you think of
Gosh,
cartoon
I'm
wise?
trying to think of the ones that haven't been. Are you saying like Disney classic?
Yeah, like
movies?
Pete's Dragon, or they did Pete's Dragon.
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
I actually like that one a lot, so that was pretty good. Dude, I know mine. I've known it since they started doing this remake, these live action ones. I'm like, please do this movie because I love
You
this.
pulling
one.
out Brave Little Toaster on me?
Dude, that would be so good. I love that movie. I love Brave Little Toaster. I hate the Mars one, the second one. Man, I love Brave Little Toaster. No, man, but actually, I mean, Sword in the Stone.
Yeah,
I would absolutely love to see.
Legitimate Sword in the Stone.
I mean, you get those movies. I mean, King Arthur films that are out
Guy Ritchie
there.
one.
Or that last one that came out, Guy Ritchie's King Arthur was so good.
Kid Would Be King.
Yeah, that was a great movie, man. But I would love to see a live action of Disney's Sword and Stone. That was always one of my favorite Disney cartoons. Or even the Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
Do we have Walter stumped here?
I'm still trying to think about. Like, I'm looking up cartoon movies.
Like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Why has there not been a good Snow? That would be a good one.
Snow White and the Huntsman's really good, though.
Snow White out of
That's
all
a bold
of the...
statement, sir.
I like this.
I cannot stand Stewart.
No one can, but Chris Hemsworth.
Now, she's got a new movie coming out called Underwater.
Charlie's Angels? Oh.
Oh, my gosh. What a joke of a film that I'm not even going to watch it. Elizabeth Banks and her whiny attitude drove me nuts. I could not stand that. We're going to rant on that for a second. When she's like, men are why we don't, or like, don't watch these movies. Excuse me, Aliens, Terminator. Like, let me go through all these movies.
Not a good movie.
That men bought most of the tickets for, because no men bought tickets to see her film. Whatever. Your film sucks, and that you just need to take credit for it. Come on. But, anyways. But
y'all are welcome for that. I knew that was coming if I mentioned it.
Dude,
So
I will rant on that big time. But Kristen Stewart's in that this new horror movie coming out called Underwater. And it looks phenomenal. It looks really, really good, actually. It's like Alien Underwater, which we've seen, several times before. Deep Star 6, Leviathan. I can go Abyss. I can go on and on. But it looks good. It looks good.
Okay, I think
as long as she dies in it, I'll be okay.
yeah, there you go.
I think I finally figured it out.
Yes.
All right, I was looking back through trying to think of, like, refresh my mind after talking about all these new movies. So, like, super old original cartoons, I'd have to go with the Aristocats.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely, probably for classics, Micah says that his would be Fox and the Hound. I love Aristocats. I'm not a cat person.
No, I hate
would
cats.
I would much rather have a dog.
Demons.
But that movie, gosh, I just love it.
I was walking through the
love it.
house the other day, maybe yesterday, and I just started singing that "Everybody Wants to Be a Cat" song. Everybody, dude, it popped my head. I think Sarah was even like looking at me like, "What's wrong with it?"
Yeah, mine would probably have to go to Aristocats, and because it's me, I'll also throw in a princess movie, Tangled. I would like to see that as a live action. I feel like that would be also really
Tangled
interesting
would be
to
cool.
see.
Yeah.
I feel like Tingle's still a little too new.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it may be too new, but I feel like they would be able to do a lot better with Aristocats. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel like they could just do a great job on that. And I feel like if they did release a trailer for Tangled coming out in live action, I feel like I would almost be hesitant. Like, I'd want to see it, but I kind of feel like there'd be some hesitation about it. Like, I hope they do kind of the same feeling I had when I saw the Aladdin trailer about,
Yeah, I
everyone
gotcha.
was thinking, how are you going to do this, Robin Williams? He's not
Yeah.
there. How are you going to do this? And I don't know, there's not like a person that you would say, oh, he's not there. But I don't know. I just hope that they wouldn't mess it up or
Pull him
try to
a
throw
lawn
something
on
out.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Just totally ruin it out
If
the
they
gate.
chuck out Pascal or Maximus, that is the only horse I like.
The only-
Okay?
yes.
Listen,
And she does not like horses. We're telling you guys. That's a good choice. I mean, yeah,
might get on a carousel. or get
Aristocats
on
would
my
be really
lap.
cool.
I would love
Um,
Aristocats.
That would be
Speaking
really
of
cool.
Cats.
Fox and Hound would be really good. I definitely think Sword and Stone would be great. Come on, Disney, get some of those classics in.
Speaking of cats,
What about cats?
Talking about the Cats movie that's coming out.
Oh my god!
it's
The
a post I
creepiest-
saw on Instagram said it had a picture of Rey and Kylo fighting on the old remains of the Death Star, and it said, "Nation struggles to decide whether or not to see a movie that's potentially bad or cats."
Or cats, yes. Man, I remember like when that came out on Broadway and they did the movie of it or whatever. Man, my mom was a fanatic of it. And I was like, this is the weirdest thing ever. And I saw the trailer for it. I'm like, this is even weirder.
Creepy,
I didn't
man.
think you could do anything
Like
worse.
Idris Elba, you can say no.
Yeah, what was up with that?
can
That's what I
say
wanna know.
no.
It's like, come on, dude. I know he's making money. He's not. He doesn't need a paycheck. That's what this one's going to be. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. I'm gonna watch it. It's not going to happen. I'll never see it. It's
No.
too weird.
Yeah.
It's too creepy.
Gross.
And I'll just forget that Idris is in it. I'm just going to ignore all that. Like, you didn't do this.
Pacific Rim, Pacific Rim, Pacific Rim.
Hobbs and Shaw. So, all right. Well, sweet. Man, Walter, thank you for being back for this episode.
Dude,
So-
you're welcome. Thank you for having me. And now that we've talked about Aristocats being live action, that's going to be in my head, and I'm waiting for it.
Oh, dude.
Like, I'm ready.
I would love for them to do that one.
I'm ready.
Just because I want to hear everybody. I don't know, is that the name of the song?
Everybody wants to be a
The
cat.
cat. I would love to hear that. Like, Get a great cast of some really good singers in there, and that would be super, super.
Like
I
Beyonce and Elton John.
It makes
Like
me
what?
always.
Like Beyonce and Elton John did the Lion King.
Oh, dude, I would love for Elton. Get Elton on there. Get Phil Collins on there. Dude, let Jeff Goldblum play piano. Like, that'd be
Yes.
so cool. Did you see he just played in front of the Queen?
Who did the what now?
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum, because he does all those jazz albums and stuff.
What?
Yeah, he was actually over there a couple months ago and played in
That's
front of the Queen.
legit.
She wouldn't meet him, but whatever.
That's not.
Yeah, so but
I'm the
but
Queen.
yes, Aristocats. Got it. I would love to see that one. So, but yeah, again, Walter, thank you. We can get you on more episodes.
Bring up something Disney, and I'll be here, and I'll actually be able to talk about
Hey,
it.
now that we got Disney Plus, that includes Star Wars.
Yes, and Marvel.
And Marvel.
And
So you-
National
Ever- ever
Geographic.
Yeah.
Ever since
Who uses that?
ever since we've gotten Disney Plus, my dad has gone back, and he hasn't seen Star Wars, and I couldn't tell you how long. And right now, he is on episode 6, starting on episode 6,
Is he?
and getting back into it. And he's like, "Dude, I forgot how much I like these." When
Dude, I
was growing
love
up."
Star Wars
He's like,
ones.
these
So,
are good.
but I want to know did he start with episode 1?
Yes,
He did. Yeah,
What
he
is
started.
wrong with you, Pastor Steve?
He's seen them before, so like it wasn't a big, I guess, thing for him.
Mhm.
But he just wanted to go and start
Like
at
in
episode
order.
1 and just go.
I still could
Yeah.
never do that to this day. If I'm like, I want to watch the entire story, I would still save those first 3 for last. Like, oh man, I can't
Nah,
stand it.
I have to watch them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I don't. Totally don't.
See, my
have
dad
to.
definitely has it to say that he watched them in the order they came out as opposed to order of episodes, because like they were coming out like
Well, yeah.
the first one that actually came out, which episode 4, is
Yep.
that right?
New Hope.
So that came out, and like Dad, I don't know if he did, but he could have watched it in the theater,
Yeah.
So like it was coming out, so he saw them, in order
love
that
those.
they came out.
That-
But he
See,
just
that's
likes
why I watched
going
the
back and
prequels
watching
first.
them.
I have something to look forward to.
That's true. That is a good point. Because if I went through the original trilogy, then did the new trilogy, I would never finish that middle trilogy. I'd be like, no, it's okay. I'll pass. I'm good.
Let's just
Yeah.
start over.
Oh my gosh, man! Like, it's
However, Rise of Skywalker. I know we're going to talk about it more.
right. I cannot wait. I'm excited. Hopefully, I get to go see it tomorrow. If not, I'm definitely seeing it next week. So
Dog.
I mean, it's big. You know what I
It's
mean?
neck and
the end
neck
of-
with Empire for me right now. And I know that's insane to say.
that is.
and I
mean,
know there's
Empire
so much
is
hate on this movie right now.
way
But
up
what
there
did
for
you
me.
expect JJ to do with the pile of crap Johnson left him?
I know, man.
So,
I was not happy with that. I did think the move that Luke, at first, when he realizes that Luke's not really there, I was like, that's boss. But I was like, what a pansy, man. Like, you should have been there instead of
No.
floating on your island. But
No, that was
I don't know.
legit.
yeah, that was a pretty cool move, though.
Legit.
But I mean, I can't wait. I mean, and it's the end of the saga. I mean, they're bringing the Skywalker storyline to an end, so that's pretty big.
The way they leave it, I need more. I
Dude.
need more.
need more Sky, because it's almost like, how do you have Star Wars without Skywalker?
Exactly.
It's-
Exactly.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, that's next month's episode. So
January. Can't get here quick enough.
no, it definitely can't. So, all right, guys. Thank you all so much again for listening. Thank you so much again for Walter being on the show. Thank you for sharing your story about beating up the horse. That's so good.
Dude, it is
You know,
my pleasure.
forget them horses. And all right, well, this is Sludge.
This is Micah.
And this is Walter.
Y'all have a good night.